One of the first members of Congress to serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives, this was before government shut down, Theodore Sedgwick had a black slave named Munbit. She was pressed into serving his family as kind of a foster mother when his wife was put into an insane asylum. One day, while standing at the back of the room at a town meeting, Munbit heard the Declaration of Independence being read. The next day, she went to her master's office and said to him, "Sir, I heard that we're all born equal and every one of us has a right to be free." So Sedgwick promptly began legal action on her behalf, and a decree of freedom was obtained for her. Munbit was now a former slave, but she was so grateful that she remained in service of his family for the rest of her life, not as a slave, but of her own free will. I think that this true story is a parallel to the biblical understanding of the human condition in relationship to God. Having been freed from slavery to sin through God's love and the gift of faith, our response should be to dedicate ourselves anew to the one who freed us. God's tremendous love urges us to give ourselves to God and to neighbor. So our service really does not merit any praise or any reward. It's the only possible response to God that we can make, having been freed from slavery and from everlasting death. The only possible response that we can make to God who has given us so much. When I stop and think about all that God has given to me and the many ways he has blessed my life, I am often embarrassed that I am not more generous, not more giving. Maybe you might feel the same way. There comes a moment in every life when we have to admit before God that we have not done enough. We could be better than we are. We could do more than we do. It's just basic honesty to acknowledge that, as the gospel says, we are all unprofitable servants. St. Augustine writes, "Pride changed angels into devils, and humility makes men and women into angels." Faith is a gift freely given, not a reward for achievement. In the beginning of today's gospel, we get a sense that the apostles are starting to understand what it is to be with Jesus and to acknowledge all he has done for them when they ask him for more faith. They are aware that their faith is a gift, and they ask for more of it. The humble request from the apostles of "increase our faith" is so different from the arrogance of the Pharisees, whom Jesus characterizes as being pleased with themselves and what they can do for God. And in the gospel, the servant who's been faithful and loyal is not rewarded with a banquet. And if that's not bad enough, he's called unprofitable. He's been doing his job. He has been doing everything that his master has asked him to do. He's been faithful. He's been dutiful. And what does he get? Almost a reprimand. You have only done what you have been obliged to do. But the point of this saying in today's gospel seems to be this: obedience to the law, doing one's duty as good as that can be, does not necessarily put us into a relationship with God. It is faith that puts us into a relationship with God. Our faith in God and God's faith in us. If you think you have faith in God, God's faith in you is way bigger than yours in him. So faith is the openness to God's finding and God's healing and God's saving. Those who merely serve God are capable, but still unprofitable servants. But those who, despite their weakness, allow God to save them, they know the abundance of God's salvation. And in the first reading from the prophet Habakkuk, there is a great contrast between demanding strict justice and having faith. It's not the just life that brings a person to life with God. Rather, it's the faith of the just person that brings a person into relationship with God. So this has a whole lot to say to you and to me. We are not saved by anything that we do, nothing at all. Rather, we are saved by God. We do not save ourselves. Our works do not save us. God saves us. God saves our life and our work. So we simply cannot earn God's favor by our good works, or by obedience to the law, or by anything else for that matter. Jesus wants his apostles, then and now, us, to act like servants who are grateful for the opportunity to serve. No amount of service will win God's love, because God's love is a free gift. It's in response to this love that the apostles are to serve gratefully and faithfully. And it is in response to that love that you and I are called to serve gratefully and faithfully. We try to love God and to serve God not because it will gain us a place in heaven, or not because we'll be on God's good side. He only has one side, a good side, so you can't even be on his bad side. So we don't do anything that we do to get on his good side. You're already there. So the only possible response that we can make to God is one of service, to this God who is good and loyal and faithful and generous and kind and compassionate, caring, forgiving, and merciful to us now and forever. That's the God that we serve, not out of any obligation, but out of complete gratitude for this God. So we approach the table of the Lord, grateful for all that we have been given, and committed to serving our Lord and neighbor in that gratitude. Nothing to be rewarded for, just our way of being grateful.